Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Go-Getter Call. Monday morning, today is January 16th, and we are in scroll number 10, and we are also in commitment 11. So those are the things we're going to discuss today. We've got a couple of guest speakers today and presenters, and I'm so excited that they've agreed to help us with that and kind of lead that. We're going to excuse Jan today. She's with her family up in Bear Lake, and they're skiing and having all kinds of winter fun, and good for her for taking some real time off because she hardly ever does. Good for her for just focusing on her family. I think she's doing great with that balance thing. So we are going to start out this time with Commitment 11, and TJ Goad is going to lead that for us, and then we'll wrap up with scroll number 10, and Janet Lewis is going to handle that for us. She's got a fun way of wrapping that all together as she studied. So TJ, go ahead.
All right. Well, I have to tell you, this has been a great commitment for me. As I've read through it and then read back through it, not even just in my business, but in my personal life. And I'll tell you a few personal experiences, and then hopefully each of you have something that it has done for you or some way that it has touched you. And it talks about our desire for approval, control, and security. And I love the way that he breaks it down, and it's always this want. And no matter what area of our life, if we really keep deciphering where that's coming from, it all comes from that desire to have approval, control, and security. Which was very interesting to me, because for me, I was not raised in a stable home. So as I was young, everything was, there was divorce everywhere. There was not strong commitments anywhere. There was, I was raised in a family where there was no I love yous. There was no physical touch. And I've recognized that through the years. But even, in high school, you don't realize how much everything that you do, you're always striving and looking for these things, whether it's, the way you're in school, the way you're with people, or the way that you're, reaching out for. So everything comes to that. And it was just so neat to have it put into words what my whole life mission has been, and to actually recognize that. So let's see. And I love their advice. So according to Commitment 11, one thing that distinguishes conscious from unconscious leaders is where they are looking to meet their deepest needs, out there or in here. I was like, whoa, alrighty then. That was huge to me. And it's all this wanting. This belief can be found at the root of all suffering and the cause of all seeking. Leaders who believe they lack approval, control, and security are always trying to get them from someone or something on the outside. This whole thing just so spoke to me. I have so much underlined again and then corrected around. And I'm going to cut, there's a great way they actually have you go through and the questions that they ask you, practicing the commitments. So if you really want to look and search these out, you need to come up with this. What do I truly want? Ask yourself, could I welcome this wanting? Could I simply allow this wanting to be here just as it is? If I dig a little deeper, is desire coming from wanting approval, control, or security? Which I thought was kind of interesting, because a lot of times I don't know which one it is, but it's okay. Pick one, it says. Just, okay. Ask yourself, could I welcome this wanting? Could I just allow it to be here? Ask yourself, could I let this wanting go just for now? Just in this moment as I best could? Ask yourself, could I rest for this moment as that which is beyond all wanting? So, and then another big section, as long as we keep seeking and wanting something we believe we don't have, we suffer. Once we experience the approval, control, and security, we can move through the ups and downs of life with peace, joy, and love, not at the effect of outward circumstances. And here I'm going to throw a little something in there, and I know we all have different faith foundations, but I have to tell you, my experience with finding this, I have a date. I could give you the date. The day that I came to know Christ, and this will make me cry. The day that I came to know Christ as my personal Savior, my life came into balance. I now move in this world from love and creativity. And I love to have the words because I've always tried to figure out what happened on that day. And that's it. I was completely fulfilled. No longer was I searching for these things. And yes, I see them once in a while. But I now have the words and a chapter that I could go back to and recognize what has happened in my life. So anyways, that's my teaching. That's my time. That's how it spoke to me. So does somebody else have something to share? You're muted, Jen.
Unmute. I can. There you go.
I loved the fact in that same thing that it says, let us be clear, sourcing approval, control, and security from the inside does not mean that we can escape pain.
Yep.
When life happens, bodies and hearts can break. Pain in life is not optional, but suffering is. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you were saying. That really spoke to me in that chapter. You know, how much of us go through pain, how many of our clients go through pain, how many of our families. I mean, it's not optional. Everyone has it.
Exactly.
But suffering
mm-hmm.
is that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was so interesting that suffering comes from a belief in lack. And when you go to the very end of this chapter, and in the nutshell, it says, what if you are lacking nothing? Well, that's an interesting question. I loved that.
Yeah.
What if I really do have everything I need? What if I really can just trust the universe that I really do have everything I need to survive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I loved that part. I thought that was a really important thing, and I think it's something that we should ask ourselves every day. What if I already have everything? You know, that's just an incredible question. I had a couple favorite parts. My very favorite sentence of the whole thing was, if others approve of me, they won't kill me. It was talking about, you know, the second core want is approval, you know, and it comes from like deep within, like that's, you know, when we very first, you know, just the basics of those core desires. So I thought that was kind of funny, but I love how they talk about there's nothing wrong with approval, control, and security. So I think that's really important to understand. They are part of the life of every person and every leader. And then, but it goes on that whole next section on page 243. The issue is wanting the approval, control, and security. There's nothing wrong with having those things. It's wanting them. As soon as we want something, anything, it implies that we don't have it. Mm-hmm. And wanting comes from a belief in lack. So we talked about that. I can only want what I believe I don't already have. Mm-hmm. Wanting approval, control, and security implies that I don't already have them. And if you think about that, do I not have security? Do I not have approval? Am I not okay the way I am? You know, do people not love me exactly the way I am? You know, that goes back to what Michelle said. You know, yeah, we already have this stuff, you know. Are we really lacking? So anyway, I've loved this chapter, you guys.
It was good.
So great.
Donna had something she wanted to say.
Yeah. This morning I was watching a little video about that very subject, and I thought it was interesting that it came up today. But so it talks about, you know, a child who lost his mother or father, I can't remember which, at a young age, like 5, and life was just full of a lot of stumbling blocks. By 17, he had already lost 4 jobs, and anyway, he got married and had a family, of course, that ended in divorce. And anyway, it moves through all these obstacles that this guy has. And then he retires at 65 or something, and he has nothing but maybe $135. But he takes stock of what he does have, and he decides, I am a good cook. So he takes his fried chicken recipe, now you can guess who it is, and starts selling it, going door to door to door to door, until, of course, you know how the story ends. He finally is Colonel Sanders, and he's worth millions. But he went through a whole lot of crap before he got to that, and took stock of, what do I have to offer? What can I work with? And he already had it all. He had it all the time. He didn't know it.
Great reminder. Thank you, Donna.
So to finish it up, I just wanted to read this part that we've read a little bit in a nutshell. What if everything in this moment in your life is actually whole, perfect, and complete? What if you are lacking nothing? Not just what if you believed you lack nothing, which is a mind game. I love that part. But what if your actual experience in this moment was that nothing was missing? How would you be? This commitment suggests that there is nothing missing, no lack, and that conscious leaders experience this moment by moment as they live and lead in the world. And I do have to say, Ramona, as I read that, in fact, I've got it written all over here, Dave Blanchard. I listened to him Saturday on the A-Team call, and every time that I listen to him, it's just him helping me find me so that I can help somebody else find themselves. That's it.
I loved that too, that's what we all need to be shooting for. You know, if we want to be leaders in this world, and we all do, if we're here on this call, we all want to be able to contribute in a significant way to the lives of others and in our own life. And so if we want to be conscious leaders, this is that feeling and that place in our mind that we're all shooting for.
Yep. Ramona?
If you don't mind, TJ, if I could ask you a personal question. I've always had hair as an issue my whole life, and seeing you go through your transition of having super long hair, and then here you are growing it all back, would you mind sharing some of the emotions you've gone through that, especially speaking of control, security, approval, all of that's tied in there. I would just be so interested and served by your comments.
I had no idea what it would do to me. And this would make me cry again. You know, because I was very, I've had several people going through the cancer, and I lost my mom last year. So, I mean, there were all of those emotions, but I just felt like, you know, I hope to create an awareness for others to remember to pray for people dealing with it, families dealing with it. I mean, you know, I think of Kara. I think of my boy's father-in-laws. I think of, so that was really what drove me. And I was very proud to say that my husband said, you feel very strongly about this. Yeah, let's do this. Because he loves my long hair. So all of that said, to say the first time that I walked into Walmart and took my hat off, it was like, can I do this? And to think that there's so many that have had to do that. When I pulled the hat off, at first it was emotion. You do. I can't believe how hard that was. And to think of all the people that have had to do that. And then to have people look at you, and they'll look at you and then they'll look away. It broke my heart. Not for me, but for people who were struggling so much and have that downward glance. And then it was interesting because people were so polite. And I'm like, why can we not be polite like that to everybody? It almost made me angry. I'm glad that they were polite because they thought I was struggling with something. But why do we not do that for everybody?
So TJ, just so we're clear, this was a choice you made. You are not suffering from cancer.
Nope.
That is so good to know.
Yeah.
And the choice you made for cancer awareness.
Yep, exactly. And everybody that asks me, I say, pray for somebody, whether it be somebody who's dealing with it, somebody who's lost somebody who has made it past it, the families who have all been touched by cancer. And it started like that, but oh my gosh, has it made a whole different awareness for me. Yeah. And it is funny because I love to look at people, and when they look at me and you can tell that they're wondering, give them a big smile, and just, love on them. It's actually, I don't know, it's been a fun experience. Fun, I don't know if I'd say fun. It's been an experience. And if there's anything I can do to make more people pray for people with cancer and the whole, because it's a whole perspective. Anyways, all of that, that's it. No cancer, just I want awareness. I want people praying. I want lots of strands praying. I don't want me praying.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, TJ, and we appreciate you leading that discussion and also sharing with us, your personal experiences and the aha moments that you had with this. Because I think we're all having those, and some of those sentences just kind of jump out at you and grip your heart, and you think, oh, wow, that explains a lot. So thank you so much for that. Janet, we're going to leave the last few minutes for you, and I'm so excited to hear what you have to share.
Well, am I frozen? Sorry, my internet's a little sketchy, so if I freeze up, but TJ, what an example of that commitment in action. What if you were perfect, whole, and complete? That is an action you can take, creative, from perfect, whole, and complete, and get clarity in getting out a message. Wow. So I've got goosebumps. So the reason, beginning when I tried to look at this scroll and this commitment, I thought they're in exact opposition, because we cry out in lack, but we cry out because of a belief of lack. But when we tap into that higher power, I learned a song as a child, and it says, I am a child of God, and he has sent me here, has given me an earthly home with parents kind and dear. And it says, lead me, guide me, walk beside me, help me find the way. When I was reading that scroll, and those words just came to me so strong because I've sung them since I was a child. And the just like TJ said, she can tell the day she found Christ in her life. That is her higher power. That is mine as well. And when you tap into that, you are lacking nothing. You are coming from a place, because I was reading, I don't know how many of you got the early release of Dr. A's new book of Identity. I read it just recently, and he talks about the fact that we all have a dark side, and we all have that conflict, that we're not what we say we are, and that's why all the positive affirmations by themselves just don't work. And Dave says the exact same thing, and it's this concept. When we tap into what that higher power is, whether it is a mentor, whether it is our health coach, whether it is the simple systems, whether it is on whatever level we are, and coming down to basic of it is we are tapping into our higher power. It makes us perfect, whole, and complete, and wanting nothing. That is the peace that is inside of us, that we can hit problems from creativity, and we won't die. we don't have those safety and security issues when we really reach out. And I love that Og puts it in that all animals are given it. The whole fact that pain is not optional, pain is part of it, and we talk about that in the commitments as well. Pain is part of it. Pain is part of being perfect, whole, and complete. But we have been given what to do when we cry out in pain. So that's my summary of all of it. Ramona.
Those of you that heard Dan Bell during Elevate Now on the 7th, I just love one of the quotes he had on his PowerPoint, and I've used it several times. And it's by Jim Rohn, and it's about suffering and pain. We do get a choice in some of that suffering and pain. And he said, we must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. So obviously seeking from our higher power takes discipline to do that, to take the time, discipline to do our program, but both of those actions bring us such amazing rewards if we're willing to do those kinds of things. I just think that's so powerful in our choices.
Can I make one comment and ask you guys a question? So why is it that all of us, as I'm reading through this, oh my gosh, I see myself in this so bad. It's like, why do we all need so much external validation? And we do, that. So we need to know that we're a good health coach. So if our clients aren't saying, oh, you're doing a good job, then we doubt ourselves. Or if our husbands or our spouse or somebody aren't saying, oh, you look good, or you're doing this. How come? And it says right in here, it has to be from us. And Dave mentions this, it's all about intrinsic validation. We have got to realize, just like all of you have said, just like Janet said, who we are is awesome. And we need to be able to tell ourselves that every day and not have to seek from the approval of everybody outside of us. And that's where I think some of the affirmations come in. I mean, I think I needed that because I have so much monkey mind brain that tells me I'm not good enough that sometimes I have to take that time and tell myself, okay, I am good enough. I can do this. You know what? Because I think I get it from so many other places that I'm not, that unless I'm telling myself that, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. And I think that's where this chapter comes in at. Why do it? The one thing, and I love this one quote, and I think somebody might have read it, but I'm not sure. It says, you can't, one of his favorite quotes was from Hale. It says, Hale, sorry. You cannot go anywhere to get what you already have, and you cannot do anything to become what you already are. That to me was huge. We are good. Our core desire is to help people. And that in and of itself, guys, is awesome. That and the fact that we're on here trying to learn how to be better people, to me tells us, dang it, we're great. I don't care what anyone else says. I'm okay. I am okay. Anyways, sorry. That was just something. Why do we have such a problem with that? Maybe it's just me. But anyway.
No.
It's not.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
why
a
we're all
universal feeling. Yeah.
That's why we're here. But you've got to come to that realization. And once you do, I think just like TJ, that day she knew, she knows what kind of person she is. She knows her value, and your value, regardless of what you do, won't change. It won't change. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes all the time. In this business, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall. We're going to brush. We're going to jump up. We're going to brush ourselves off and say, okay, I'm back. I'm ready to help. I can do this better. But our value doesn't change. Our worth does not change. Thanks for letting me rant. That was
Thanks
fun.
for that reminder. You're right.
Beautiful. The last thing I wanted to just leave you with was the reflection for the week. I think it was last week's reflection, but it's good for us to keep some account of our prayers, that we may not unsay them in our practice. And our practice a lot of time is our monkey mind. But when we keep account of our prayers, it is that affirmation of, believe it or not about myself, I am because I have asked, I have reached, and I can be guided.
Thank you so much, Janet. And thanks all of you for your beautiful thoughts and your aha moments, because they really do help all of us. And sharing those things, I think, helps all of us become better people and dig a little deeper in our own selves to find what we need to maybe change our thoughts about, so that we can then do more good and have more peace. This is all about the peace, isn't it? Like my life is just all about peace. That's all, really what I put the most value on, I think, is having peace in my heart. Well, Ramona, go ahead. Oh, you're leaving? Okay. Thanks so much for being on. So next week's commitment, interestingly enough, follows right into it. And the commitment is having enough of everything. Is that the coolest thing? So if any of you feel really inspired by that and you want to take that on next week, just send Jan a message and let her know. I just really feel like I would like to research that and present that. And I know she would love that. She would appreciate that. And it's really nice for us to hear everyone's insights, and because we all have a different story, and it's so fun to hear what people's insights are. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Janet and TJ, for presenting today, and thank all of you for your wonderful thoughts and just for your good energy that you bring. I appreciate you. I love this group so much.
Thanks, you guys. It was a great morning. Good way to start a holiday off.
Yeah. Have a great week.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.